Probably wondering why all asked to convene here today.
Keep your seats. They knew you were coming.
They call us a little preemptively. Yeah, they made us sit out here and warm them up for you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to get him. Make sure you make room for Steve down. Oh, here he is. Right here.
I guess. I got a smile.
Oh, I didn't know that. He's down here. Make room for Steve down here.
You got to stay warm. Let's take
I'm going to put my hands there.
No man left behind. Emmer went to a press conference. Or a meeting.
Never.
Ready?
Double LA, baby.
On behalf of the House Republican Conference, we are unified and so proud to have elected Mike Johnson as Speaker of the People's House. As many of you heard and the American people heard, I meant every word that I said on the House floor. I've had the opportunity to work with Mike Johnson as vice chair, and I was so humbled and honored to nominate him. Mike epitomizes servant leadership. He is humble, but he is strong. He is well respected, not only across this conference, but across this great nation. And we know the stakes. We know that we were sent here on behalf of the American people to serve as their voice, to stand up for them, to push back on the failed far-left agenda of single-party Democrat rule led by Joe Biden. So we are here unified in strength to reopen the People's House, and I'm so excited to turn it over to my colleague, Tom Emmer from Minnesota, our whip.
You're here.
Thank you, Elise. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Thank you for bearing with us. I know it's been a long few weeks. From an outside point of view, these last few weeks probably look like total chaos, confusion, no end in sight. But from my perspective, this is one of the greatest experiences in the recent history of our republic. While speakers' races for the last 100 years have been conducted behind closed doors, filled with political promises and tyrannical threats against anyone who would not fall in line, the speakers' races under our House Republican majority have been open, honest, transparent, and a true display of what democracy looks like in action. It took a while for us to get here, but our conference has shown that we achieved tremendous success when we worked together as a team. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of this team with our new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, leading the way. Mike is a strong man of faith, a constitutional conservative, and a fierce fighter for our Republican common sense agenda. He has been a leading force on the Judiciary Committee, where he has defended Americans' individual liberties while fighting back against the Democrats' radical agenda and the Biden family's culture of corruption. He has been an important leader in our conference for nearly 3 years as vice chairman. And as Speaker, I know Mike will keep our majority united as we continue to deliver on the commitments we've made to our constituents. We've had some challenging times around here these last few weeks, but our country has endured challenging times before. And I have zero doubt that we will again. Not only will we survive, we're going to come out stronger and better because of it. And the American people can be rest assured that with Speaker Mike Johnson at the helm, our House Republican majority will keep fighting to unapologetically stand with Israel, rein in Washington's reckless spending, secure our border, and force the Biden White House and Schumer Senate along with us as we govern. If these last few weeks have proven anything, it's that we will never stop fighting. We will never give up. And I firmly believe that with House Republicans now united and ready to get back to work, as our new Speaker-elect said, our best days lie ahead. And with that, I'm going to introduce the other legend from Louisiana, our Majority Leader, Steve Scalise.
Thank you, Whip. Well, this is a great day. This is a day that's been coming for a long time. You know, if you think about what's happened these last 3 weeks, while a lot of people outside of Washington talk about dysfunction, this great group of men and women behind me have been talking about how to fix what's broken in Washington. And hasn't that discussion been coming for way too long? That's what this last 3 weeks has been about. That's what we have been struggling through. That's what we've been working towards, and we resolved it today by electing Mike Johnson as our next speaker. And what Mike laid out was a vision. It wasn't just core principles that he talked about today on the House floor so eloquently, but a vision for how we get not just the House back operating, but how we get Washington working better, how we fix this broken institution, and how symbolic. Mike talked in the House chamber about the symbolism of the House chamber, Moses, in God we trust, right above the Speaker's rostrum. So many other symbols, Washington, Lafayette, the history of some of the great battles, passing the 13th Amendment in that chamber. But if you look up at this Capitol dome that serves as a beacon to so many, not just here in America, but all around the world, interestingly, the last 3 weeks, the Statue of Freedom was covered in scaffolding. Just like we have been doing construction to fix this broken institution, how symbolic that the scaffolding is now coming down as we elected a new speaker to fix this institution that's had problems for decades that needed to be addressed and went ignored for way too long. I have seen this man in action since I was a state representative. For those people that don't know Mike Johnson, maybe they're looking to Google, maybe they're looking to other places. But those of us who have known Mike Johnson for a long time, and I've known him maybe longer than most, I've seen a commitment, a self-service commitment to things bigger than himself, going back to my days in the State House and when he came to Congress. Those same principles followed him. His belief, his faith that drives him so deeply, that some actually mock him for. Those are the principles that make this country so great. Those are the principles that cause people who believe in freedom all around the world to look up at that Statue of Freedom as a beacon of hope for all around the world. And what Mike Johnson is going to do for us and our country, getting us back on track. We are just getting started, but people are going to come to know and love what he represents because he fights for things bigger than himself and people who have been ignored for way too long. It is my great privilege to introduce the 45th Speaker of the House, my dear friend, Mike Johnson, the Speaker.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Tom and Elise. This is an extraordinary team that has been assembled here to serve the American people. Steve Scalise represents so much in our home state of Louisiana. One of the things he truly represents is perseverance and hope. And as he was talking here just a moment ago, I was reminded of the scripture that says suffering produces perseverance, perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. What we need in this country is more hope. The people have lost their faith in our institutions. Their faith is at an all-time low. And one of the reasons they've lost it is because the Congress, over the years, has not delivered for the American people well enough. We're in the majority right now. We've gone through a little bit of suffering. We've gone through a little bit of character building. And you know what it's produced? More strength, more perseverance, and a lot of hope. And that's what we're about to deliver to the American people. We're going to speak with clarity and conviction and consistency to the American people. We're going to tell them what we're for, what agenda we are pursuing, and why it is best for every American, why it will give them more liberty, opportunity, and security. We're going to speak to that clearly. We're going to act consistently, and we're going to exhibit two things here, trust and teamwork. And this group will deliver for the American people. I said it in the chamber, and I will say it here. We're going to govern well, and I think the people are going to be very pleased with those results. We're so grateful. I'm so grateful and so humbled to have gotten a unanimous vote on the floor by all of my colleagues here. We went through a lot to get here, but we are ready to govern, and that will begin right away. You've all heard me talk a lot today, and I'm not going to belabor the point because the sun is bright and it's too warm for the fall. But I'll say this, we're going to dispense with all the usual ceremonies and celebrations that traditionally follow a new speakership because we have no time for either one. The American people's business is too urgent in this moment. The hour is late, the crisis is great. In America, we hear you. And we are reporting again, as I said in there, to our duty stations. That will begin in just a few moments. This entire group is going to go back to the House floor, and we are going to pass our resolution in support of the nation of Israel, our closest ally in the Middle East. You're going to see an aggressive schedule in the days and weeks ahead. You're going to see Congress working as hard as it's ever worked, and we are going to deliver for the American people. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I want to thank you for being patient with us, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Yeah. God bless you. God bless you.
That's good work.
Well, I wasn't sure until this moment because there's a podium, there's press present, if Speaker Johnson would take any questions. The answer, obviously, no, as he and the Republican conference turn and head back into the House of Representatives. You heard him. They are getting right to work. They're going to be working to pass that resolution, which I imagine will happen with bipartisan support fairly quickly in the House of Representatives, showing support for Israel as they go through their own issues right now, specifically a war, a conflict with Hamas. There's other updates related to that story. President Biden having spoken a little bit earlier while the House was actually electing Speaker Johnson on that conflict. He's been hosting the Prime Minister from Australia today. So other national news stories certainly out there. If you're looking for that information, check out your local Nexstar station site or the coverage that we provide at Nexstar on thehill.com. So with that press conference, semi-press conference, again, no questions taken, but with that public address of Speaker Johnson's complete, I'm going to conclude this live stream where we witnessed firsthand the election on that fourth nominee and fourth attempt by the U.S. House, and specifically its majority Republican Party, to get a new speaker 23 days after ousting Kevin McCarthy. Thanks so much for joining me for this live stream. Until the next one, I'm Chip Brewster. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.